Hey there! I contacted Kaweco and I told them I would definitely be interested in reviewing some of their pens. They sent me a huge care package. One of the pens I particularly requested was this one. It is their Calligraphy Set. And I thought that, we might as well have a look at that. So that's what we're going to be doing now. Get this nice tin. I love their tins. Very, very cool. It says Calligraphy. Looks very nice. Kaweco, that's actually relief, looks very cool. You get this nice little window there, all very nicely done. You open up, it is not hinged, so be careful. I expected it to be hinged the first time I opened that. And then you get this. Very, very nice. What's in the package? Couple of things. First of all, there are no less than 4 sections in this kit. You get a 1.1, a 1.5, a 1.9, and I believe it was 2.3 millimeter nib. All of these are Italic nibs. If that has no meaning to you, an Italic nib looks like this. So as you can see, it's very flat-ended nib and completely flat. There is not really any tipping. If there would be tipping, it would be a stub. But this is an Italic nib. Very good for calligraphy. The true Italic nib is a crisp Italic. They have very sharp corners and they can sort of cut into the paper. This is not, I wouldn't really call this a cursive Italic, but the edges are rounded off a bit. But it's definitely not excessively sharp. Okay, so you have those 3 nibs with the complete sections in there. And then you have a very interesting bit of kit there. You get 3 of those. Yeah, so what you got there is, imagine you would have this inked up, you have the cartridge in there, but you want to get rid of it, or you want to switch out the sections. You can take one of these rubber things and you just slide it on there so that ink doesn't actually leak out into spots where you don't want to have it. That's about as suggestive as I can make this. Yeah. Okay, then we have 2 boxes of black cartridges, 6 cartridges, black. If you do calligraphy, a lot of people do that with black ink. And then you have your calligraphy pen. This pen is a Kaweco Sport. It's a classic. This is the transparent version. This is the calligraphy pen. It is the same pen, except it's not clear. This one is all black. It doesn't have a clip. I'm going to cover the parts of this. Let me just get my calipers out of the way so that I can use my mouse. Here we got the Kaweco logo, Kaweco, 3 syllables. We got the black cap, which looks cool. It has Kaweco on there. In fact, it has Kaweco Sport on there. It has the barrel. Then you have a sort of ribbed thing there, and nothing at the end of the barrel. Although it does, it says made in Germany. How about that? Made in Germany. Unscrew it. These caps screw on them very deeply, and then you can use the pen unposted, but for me that is uncomfortable. It's too small. You can just post it. That's how it was designed. Then you have a full-size pen, which is fairly unique for a calligraphy pen. Usually they're a bit bigger, look a bit more like, well, used to show you an example like this. So they have a very nice elongated barrel. This is a bit shorter, but actually this is very comfortable to hold too. I don't find this any less appealing or less ergonomic than one of those elongated designs. As to ink supply, you can put in one of those aromatic squeeze type Kaweco converters. I just threw in one of those black cartridges. I mean, I got 12 with the set, might as well use them. Black ink is black ink. The section I find comfortable to hold. I don't really have issues with those threads. When you post the pen, it's a very nice size. The nibs are very smooth, very, very smooth. Give a nice bit of line variation. I'm going to show you that in the writing sample. I'll try to write with all 4 of them. Very, very nice. I really love it. So Kaweco, thanks a lot for sending me this. I was looking to try this out for a long time. I think it's a very cool set. It's great that you get 4 nibs. Gives you a nice bit of line variation, because this one 2.3 millimeters is actually very broad. I mean, I'm not sure if you fully realize that if you've never really used a calligraphy nib, but I'm not using the best of paper here, but this is what a 2.3 millimeter nib does. And you know, I've got a Kaweco all-rounder here, so this is what an extra fine line looks like. You see, so this 2.3 millimeter nib, that's no joke. It's almost like a felt tip pen. That's pretty much all I can say. What do I like about it? What do I not like about it? Well, the same things as with the other sport pens I've reviewed. I like the design. It's small. You can carry this with you. You can easily carry this with you because it's so small and have a nice bit of line variation, which is a personal touch. You don't have to do calligraphy. You can just really alter your handwriting, make it look cooler by just using this. Now 2.3 is probably a bit much for that, but if you were to use, say, 1.1 or 1.5 millimeters, you would really get a nice bit of schwung to your writing, and you don't even have to do gothic stuff or anything. You can just do your normal writing. So I think that's very, very cool. Things I don't like about it, well, it's small. That's the positive side and the downside. I mean, it's a small pen. You have to post it, at least I do, to use it comfortably. But that's pretty much all there is to it. So I love the pens. I love the design. I think it's a very cool little pen, and that's pretty much all there is to it. Let's do a little bit of weighing and some measurements. This one comes down to 10 grams. I've taken these measurements before. Let's see if they are consistent, huh? I come to 106 millimeters length, capped, uncapped. I have 100 millimeters, exactly 10 centimeters. Section diameter just below the nib, I get 10. Somewhere in the middle, I get about 9.5, and then down, I get all the way down at the barrel end, where it meets the section meets the barrel, I get 10 millimeters yet again. And that's all there's to it. So, I hope this was useful. We're going to get an extensive writing sample next. Thanks, Kaweco, for sending me this. It's very cool, and I hope this was useful. Okay, so here we go with this Kaweco Sport calligraphy pen. I've started with the finest nib. Now I'm going to show you all 4 nibs. I have to get an ink flow going, so you have to bear with me. That may take a few seconds, I'm sorry. And what we have here is the Kaweco Sport calligraphy nib. These are broad nibs. This is the 1.1. I'm not going to do actual calligraphy. I'm just going to use normal handwriting. I'm going to show you what an italic nib can do for your handwriting. Okay? 1.1 millimeter italic. You could use this in daily life, even if your handwriting is not too large. I think this is 5 millimeters, one of these squares. So I'm not writing particularly largely. I'll try to write very small now. That is very, very small. But as you can see, it really adds something to your handwriting, right? It's got a bit of schwung to it, which is very cool. That was 1.1 millimeters. I think we're going to do 1.5 next. Yep, I'm just squeezing that cartridge a bit to get that feed primed. And this is where I could use one of those one of these objects that you could slide over the section to keep it dry. Make sure, actually to keep it wet, make sure it doesn't dry out. Okay, got an ink flow going. This is 1.5 millimeters. You see, that's already quite a bit broader. Flourishes look very well with this kind of stuff. Very cool. Nice line variation. I'm going to slip that 1.1 millimeter on there again, just to give you a bit of the idea of the line variation you can expect there. Okay, and then we have a 1.9 millimeter. I'm squeezing that cartridge again, trying to get some ink flow going. With these very broad nibs, that's always, it can be a bit hard. There we go. Okay, I've flooded this one with ink, so if there's suddenly a blob of ink, you'll have to forgive me. So here we have a 1.9mm nib. Things are starting to go into the spectacular realm now. You see it flows well. I have yet to find a calligraphy pen, fountain pen, that does not skip once in a while. You must realize that you're dealing with a very broad nib, so broad that air replacement can get a problem. So ink flows out, air should be, get back in, and that's sometimes a bit of an issue that hinders capillary action a bit. It's a very complicated story. The gist of the matter is it's hard, and usually calligraphy pens skip, and I'm sure that these pens do so too, although they do seem to be nice and wet, which I absolutely love. Okay, that was 1.9. Let's have a look at 2.3mm. A very broad nibbage factor you got there. Okay. So here we have 2.3. Now this is beyond practical for everyday use, I think, because this gets into the very broad range. That was not the full range, you see. I write a bit slower because of that air replacement issue and stuff, so you can really see it. See you move into a very expressive, bold nib here. And if you don't mind your handwriting, as I just did there, you see things will get illegible. So you really have to be careful here. Now, as to actual calligraphy, let's start with this. One of my favorite ways to start a calligraphy pen is to write this in Gothic script. Gott sei Dank. Thanks be to God. Lovely, broad, wet, juicy, big nib. This 2.3. This is the one that's going to be on there for me at all times. I absolutely love it. Kaweco, thanks a lot for sending me this pen. I really appreciate it. It's a pen I wanted to try out for a long time. Every time I didn't really get along to buying one, so thanks a lot for sending me one. I hope this review was useful, and I'll see you later. Bye bye.